this works. It could be a one and done kind of thing. But we'll see. Don't talk into that. Okay. Well, first, before we get going, I wanted to let you know that the Lenten lunch that we are hosting is this Wednesday at 11:30 here in the fellowship hall. And so there will be people from different churches around the community. And so we encourage you to be there for that. If you have signed up already to provide a salad, I'm deeply appreciative. If you haven't had the opportunity to do that, the sign-up sheet is right up here. The more, the better. But that is this Wednesday if you'd like to attend. Tomorrow night, the men's fellowship is in Newcastle, and so we'll be meeting here and driving the van up to Newcastle, short drive. So a few people have already signed up for that, so guys, it'll be a good evening together.
When does the band leave?
What?
When does the band leave?
When does the van leave? I'm looking at you, Jared.
Am I driving?
I don't know. 5. Maybe 5. When does the dinner start?
No, it starts at 6.
Starts at 6.
5:30?
Yeah, 5:30. 5:30, yeah. We don't want to just be there before there's food. Okay. All right. Any other questions from the gallery? No? We're okay? Oh, Rose, okay.
This week on Tuesday, our girls' Bible study for 6th grade through 12th. We'll meet here and we'll go to Shirlene's. She's hosting us. So if you have a 6th grader or anywhere to 12th grade, if you're interested, meet here at 5:45.
All right, so that begins this Tuesday, the Bible study for the young ladies. They'll be meeting here and then going to Shirlene's for their first get-together. All right. If you can turn your Bibles to Matthew chapter 18, this is the passage we'll be in this morning. Speaking on the topic of forgiveness, because this is what Jesus speaks about in this chapter. And about halfway through the chapter, we see Jesus talking about what you do with the person who sins against you. This is not the person who's maybe, although some of the principles are still the same, I think we should differentiate between the person who just does something that you didn't like, or maybe rubbed you the wrong way, and the person who sinned against you. And there's a prescription here that Jesus offers about going to that person and talking with them. And if that doesn't work, well then we need to get a group together and we need to talk about this. And we need to make sure we know what is right and what is wrong that happened in this exchange. And then it moves on from there. But after Jesus talks about what you do in this situation, Peter asks a question, and that's where we're going to pick up this morning in verse 21. It says, "Then Peter came up and said to him, 'Lord, how often will my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? As many as 7 times?' Jesus said to him, 'I do not say to you 7 times, but 77 times.'" So we'll just pause right there for a moment. And again, I feel like part of the theme of this sermon series has been like, hey, let's take it easy on the disciples. Because oftentimes this is another opportunity for us to jump onto Peter and be like, oh, silly, immature, not a good Christian Peter. He just thinks you're supposed to forgive someone 7 times, and Jesus says, no, that doesn't apply. 77 times. 70 times 7. Like, there is no real place where you get to where it's okay to stop forgiving people. And so we may take this opportunity to look down on Peter, but my question to you is, like, what's our cultural norm there? Because I feel like I may know what it is, but when I think about, or when I hear people talking about forgiveness, hearing people talking about putting up with people, the phrase we most often use, or that I hear, is 3 strikes and you're out. Right? And obviously it's a baseball term, but we use this in real life all of the time. Like, or what's the famous phrase that George Bush butchered that one time? Fool me once, shame on me. Oh, see, I'm pulling the bush. Yeah, that whole thing. I'm just not even going to try. But it's like we, as a culture, don't even really go to the level that Peter was at. I mean, Peter's willing. How many times should we forgive someone? 7 times? And maybe he picks this number because it's a very God-like number, and it is because it is a big number. I mean, if you think about someone sinning against you, someone insulting you, someone hurting you in some way, 7 times. There's a lot of times to forgive. And in the context of like this earlier passage where it talks about what we do with someone who sins against us, and then the question comes, well, how many times we deal with this? I think the most relevant place in our lives to think about this passage is in our personal relationships. Because yes, there will be opportunities where someone from the outside comes in and sins against you, your family, in some way. Someone that you don't know, someone just driving down the road, a drunk driver, takes out a family. These sorts of things. But that's probably the one and only opportunity I'm going to have to forgive this person who maybe cut me off driving down the road, right? If I'm forgiving someone 7 times, then that's someone that's in my life. And then maybe it's just impossible to get them out of my life if this is the 7th time I've forgiven them. This is your husband. This is your wife. This is your son, your daughter, your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters. These are your neighbors. These are your cousins. These are the people you grew up with in high school. These are the people that are closest to you that you would ever have to consider. How many more times am I going to have to put up with this? How many more times am I going to have to listen to them say, I'm sorry for what they've done to me? Perhaps you've been there where you've reached the limit, and maybe it was just twice. It really just depends on what's going on there, right? Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, but there reaches a point where you're like, how many more times do I have to put up with this? How many more times do I have to listen to an apology and try to bring back not just an acceptance and okay, this is just what we do, but a true, genuine forgiveness from the heart that Jesus would desire. And so many marriages dissolve, I think, in this one place. How many times can I offer forgiveness? How many times can I extend love towards sin? Jesus gives us a story to try to make this maybe a little bit easier for us to understand. In verse 22, he says, or 23, he says, "Therefore the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his servants. When he began to settle, one was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. And since he could not pay, his master ordered him to be sold with his wife and children and all that he had, and payment to be made. So the servant fell on his knees, imploring him, 'Have patience with me, and I will pay you everything.' And out of pity for him, the master of that servant released him and forgave him the debt. But when that same servant went out, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 denarii. And seizing him, he began to choke him, saying, 'Pay what you owe.' So his fellow servant fell down and pleaded with him, 'Have patience with me, and I will pay you.' He refused and went and put him in prison until he should pay the debt. When his fellow servants saw what had taken place, they were greatly distressed, and they went and reported to their master all that had taken place. Then his master summoned him and said to him, 'You wicked servant, I forgave you all that debt because you pleaded with me. And should not you have had mercy on your fellow servant, as I had mercy on you?' And in anger his master delivered him to the jailers until he should pay all his debt." Now, a few things to understand with this passage. One is just the currency we're talking about right here. The first servant owes the master, the king, 20,000 talents. That's a lot of money. That's Bill Gates kind of money. a talent is 20 years' wages. 20 years' wages. And he says, you owe me 20,000 talents. And the man doesn't dispute it. He says, no, you got your figures wrong. Now, if you did that into our math now, what common wage is in the state of Oklahoma, we're talking about somewhere between $7 and $8 billion that this servant owes this king, his master. Which makes some of the conversation here pretty crazy, because notice that he says, have patience with me and I will pay you everything. Really? He's going to pay back 20,000 talents. He's going to pay back $7 to $8 billion. You realize what that means? In this world right now, you would have to be 108th or 9th on the list of the richest people in the world to be able to pay back this guy. You have to have money, beyond money to be able to pay this guy. And so even the idea that he would be able to do that is false. He still is crying out for mercy. He's still crying out for the opportunity to be able to repay it. And so the master sees this. He takes pity on him, and he releases him of his debt. He releases him of a debt of $8 billion. Yeah, I know. If you were me, it'd be like, no, you got to pay something. You got to pay 1% even. Just 1%, just one talent. You work for the next 20 years in my house. You're mine for 20 years. And if we looked at the debt, and if we looked at, if he brought it down to that level, we would even say that would be merciful. But he completely erases the debt. He says, you don't owe me anything. Can you imagine the relief that you would feel? Have you ever had the joy of paying off a debt? Right? Of paying off a car, paying off a mortgage, paying off a credit card, whatever it is. Have you ever felt that joy when you're sitting in that last check? Make that last payment, it's I am free. Free from monthly, month after month, paying off whatever this is. It probably doesn't even work anymore and I don't even care about it. I'm still paying on it. This is joy beyond joy that he must be feeling for the freedom that he's been given, not that he deserves, but that this master has seen fit to give him. Now the story takes a pretty awful turn, because he then goes and does not extend this grace, does not extend this mercy to his peers. Because someone is in his debt 100 denarii, and a denarii is 1 day's wage. And so based on the amount of hours they work, that'd be equivalent today to 4 months' work. So if you put that in Oklahoma, we're talking about $11,000 to $12,000. So this man owes him $11,000 to $12,000, and he's choking him up against a wall. Right after he's been relieved of a debt of $8 billion. Now, we know this is a parable, right? What has this guy purchased from this king that was, $8 billion? What's the debt there, right? Unless, it's just a really bad interest rate. Jesus is trying to say something here. He's trying to tell us what the kingdom of heaven looks like. The kingdom of heaven looks like us with a debt that can never be repaid. We may believe we can, but the master looks at us and he takes pity on us, he shows mercy on us, and he says, no, I don't need you to repay the debt. The debt is gone. And then the command for us is to then take that mercy and share it with others. And so do we forgive someone 7 times? No, we forgive them 77 times. There is no point at which the forgiveness well is dried up, because it has never been dried up for you. Think of the debt that you owed to God when He cleansed you of your sins. Consider the fact that when He cleansed you of your sins, when you called out to Him and cried out for mercy, He still knew that you would still continue accruing sin. He knew that when you cried out to Him, that when you offered your life to Him in baptism, that there were still going to be moments where you would continue to rack up the debt. through the blood of his Son, it's all been taken away. And so I ask you, what do we have to offer of forgiveness? Because what is forgiveness but love? A modern day version of this parable. So this is the part where you get to talk, okay? Can you talk to me? Say hi. Hi. All right. Okay. So this was, did he tell you when I asked him something? No. This was about a year and a half ago, I feel like, the alligator incident. Yeah. That. Huh? Not even a year. Oh, so this is fresh news. So do you want to tell them what happened? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I drew on a couch.
Yeah, and what did you used to draw on that couch?
A crocodile.
Okay, yeah, you drew a crocodile, right. And what did you use?
A pin.
Uh-huh. What color was that pen? Do you remember? What color the ink was?
Black.
It was blue, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it was an afternoon. You're sitting in the bottom here. After school, and drew on one of our couch cushions, right in the middle of the couch cushion. This nice, it was very well drawn, right? Yeah. He's a really good artist. Like, I honestly, like, he couldn't deny it, because he was the only one in the house at the time who had the capability to draw an alligator with that kind of skill. Yeah, drew a nice, big alligator right in the middle of the couch cushion. Blew it. Can't come out. And this wasn't too terribly long after we got this furniture, by the way. And so, no turning over the cushion. Like, it's just, you can't turn over the cushion. And so, and maybe some of you have seen it. If you've been to our house, it's still there, faded a little bit, but there's still a nice big alligator in the middle of our couch. Do you remember, like what I, do you remember being in trouble for that? What happened? You got grounded. Was your dad angry? How angry was he? Yeah, see the risks I'm taking here? Right now. He chained me up in the backyard. Yeah. I was angry, right? Yeah, and we had punishment, but did Dad and Mom, did we forgive you for that?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know why we forgive you? Because we love you. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Because we love Him. Because we love Him. All right, another incident. This one's more recent. This one came to you, actually. Yeah, it's great. Can you tell us about the Pokemon toy that you had?
Leah left it out on the floor and Papa ate it.
Yes. Yeah, Leah left the Pokemon toy out on the floor, and Padfoot, our dog, ate it. Right? Because what happens when you leave toys on the floor in our house?
They eat it.
They eat it, right. Do you like our dog Padfoot?
Not now.
Yeah. Yeah, he eats all the toys. That's what he does. So, but whose fault was it that toy got eaten?
Leah's.
It was Leah's fault. Did that make you angry, Devin? Yes. Okay. And do you remember what you said to her? You may not. Yeah. But I remember it made you very mad. You yelled a little bit because you found, because it wasn't just any Pokemon, it was a legendary Pokemon? Is that what it was? This was serious stuff. And it was gone. What did you have to do with it?
Throw it away.
So, are you still angry with Leah about it?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. Did for that?
You made me.
One and done. That's it. That's true. That's true. So, the reason we forgive each other in our house, and sometimes mom forgives dad, right? Sometimes dad forgives mom. And sometimes you have to forgive me when I get mad sometimes, right? Yeah. And sometimes I have to forgive you. And why do we forgive each other? Because we love each other, right? And do you love your sister? I know you do. Forgiveness is love. And so when Peter asks his question, he's asking, how many times do I have to love somebody? How much love do I have to offer to someone? And Jesus says, it's never ending. It's unconditional. You can go ahead and go sit back down, but thank you. It's never ending. It's unconditional. And it's easy to understand when we talk about things with our family, because my love for Devin and Leah and Heidi is never ending. It's unconditional. There's nothing they can do that won't stop that. There are things that they will do that will make it a challenge. Absolutely, because I'm human. But that doesn't mean it will ever stop. But you may be saying, Justin, we're talking about a couch. We're talking about a Pokemon toy. I'm talking about someone who really, truly hurt me. And maybe we shouldn't gloss over, like, the servant here. I mean, he's owed $11,000. Now, you just put that up to a stack of $8 billion, and it's like, what do you do? Like, there's no comparison. But hello, anybody would have a problem with someone like who owes them $11,000 and at least at this point has not made an effort to repay it? Yeah. And I think we all look at Jesus and we say, yeah, I understand the $8 billion, and Jesus, I love you for that. But this is $11,000. And that's a lot of pain. And you're asking me to do a lot right now. Words cut deep. Love that's not shown leaves wounds. But Jesus says love is never ending. It is unconditional. It must be offered over and over and over again. And let me add on the last verse of this passage that I left off. Verse 35. So also my heavenly Father will do to every one of you if you do not forgive your brother from your heart. Let me back that up in case you forgot the context. In anger, his master delivered him to the jailers until he should pay all of his debt. So also my heavenly Father will do to every one of you if you do not forgive your brother from your heart. This is following Jesus 101. We forgive one another. Does it hurt? Yes. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Will you be caught in moments of anger and sadness, feelings of betrayal? Absolutely. But my sheet with him is clean. And so with everyone else, in my human imperfection, I must love. And I must forgive. I know there are people in this room who have suffered at the hands of other people far greater than I have. I mean, in a lot of ways, I've lived a charmed life. Just the fact that I had two parents who loved each other, still do and still love me, it just puts me in a place of blessing that I really don't fully appreciate it. But whether the amount they owe you is $5, $10, $10,000, look back to the cross. Look back to his love. And hear the words that he offered in that moment. Father, forgive them. They do not know what they do. Would you be standing this morning?